Alright, quick and simple, this is a new upgraded and updated macro for Anime Adventures Update 2. Let's go.
もういい。お前に払った時間は無駄だった。
後でね。
Alright, so before we get started, let's go ahead and get into the things you actually need before we actually do the macro. So side note, there's multiple factors that can make the macro slower, like, you know, errors when you're inside the game, different POVs, not waiting long enough, or your Wi-Fi being trashed. There's a lot of things, but if you follow these steps, usually 90% of the time, most of the runs are going to be the same. I'll show you near the end of what happens if it doesn't go right, but either way, this is still probably one of the most efficient macros. So the first thing you need, like for every macro, you need Tiny Task. I'll leave it down in the description. It is free and not a virus. All right, it's chill. Everybody uses it. I use it. Or at least I haven't gotten a virus. No, I'm joking. I've used this for a long time now. But yeah, the next thing you need is decent Wi-Fi. Of course, if you don't have decent Wi-Fi, the macro might not go as fast. If you have bad Wi-Fi, it is what it is. But you're just gonna have to wait longer once you join the game. But I'll tell you guys in a minute about everything that you guys need to do. Besides that, the loadout that you really need is Arima, Dio, Irwin, and Bulma. You can switch out Arima with any other high damaging mythicals with low SPA, like Juzo, Broly before the full AoE form, or Shanks, etc. And the reason why I have this setup is because, of course, Arima, low SPA, high damage, big AoE, kills everything in its path in mid to late game. Dio, of course, start off defense is what you use in raids, etc. You place him near yourself and it kills everything that's slow. Irwin, it's there to kill Kizaru and any other fast units that get past Dios. And of course, Bulma is there to give you a bunch of money late game. Late game meaning around wave 20, 15, etc. It's not that late, alright? This is a macro to get the most efficient amount of gems, EXP, and fruits, alright? And then, of course, have these units close to max level or max so you can get as much damage as you can. And also evolutions. I spelled that way wrong, but if you have evolutions on your units, that's really great, especially for the mythicals right here. But besides that, and now in-game advice, wait 10 to 15 seconds every time you join the game or leave the game, or once you receive your rewards. I'll show you guys in a bit once we actually get to that point. Always hold A plus S when going inside a time machine to guarantee that you're inside the machine. I'll show you guys that. I'll show all of these once we get to that point, but I'm just saying it here just to give a little heads up. And then have slow, precise mouse movements, because sometimes I notice that it breaks up, or you click on the wrong things when you're going too fast. So you have slow and precise movements. It goes by way quicker and easier. And then I'll show the statistics in the end. For me, of course, it might be different for everybody. But here's the video. The first thing that I do before starting the macro is aligning an area while I will remember to place my mouse at the end. So I kind of like match it up with this little line right here. And once I do, I start the macro. This is already macroed, but this is what you're gonna do if you're like starting the macro. So once you're right here, start the macro, click join, and you should be good to go. So once you click join, put it in the middle, click a couple times just to make sure that you're actually in the game. And then once you do that, wait 10 to 15 seconds, jump a couple times just to make sure. You know, once I'm in the game, look at this. I'm gonna be jumping just a little bit just to time myself before I actually get into the actual run. But right here, I'm gonna jump a couple times, of course, 10 to 15 times. And then once I'm done with that, start running to the left. And the reason why I do this is to make sure I'm inside the game, because sometimes your Wi-Fi has different loading speeds, so it's a little annoying if you do it too early and it doesn't work. But right here, I run, I do my first forward push towards the staircase just to make sure I go through the actual, you know, door. And then I do that 3 times, so that's the second time and the third time. And then on the 4th time, I go ahead and hold W right towards the time machine, and I also hold A and S to go back and forth a little bit. As you can see, I'm kind of shimmying because sometimes it doesn't put you inside the machine every single time, since the loading speed is different for the machine as well. So once you do that, shimmy a little bit and then click MARINEFORD. Don't click infinite since it's already on infinite. Click select and then start. Click that a couple times just to make sure, and then you're good to go. Once you're inside the game, right here, as you can see, wait around, you know, the usual 10 seconds. And then once you do, click on yes, and you should be ready for the waves to start. Click on yes a couple times, of course, just to make sure. I always love to make sure that I click on things so the macro goes more smoothly. But right here, as you can see, the units are coming through. Usually there's marine units that go by really quickly, but once the wave starts and you get your money, place down a Dio exactly right here, and then he should be able to kill him right there. Boom. As you can see, they're dying pretty easily. And then I place down an Irwin just to make sure those fast ones, or the ones that get by, are actually dead. And then I place down a Bulma and upgrading her once so I can get that extra money next wave. And this Dio should be able to defend for the most part, and then the other ones should be dead by the Irwins. And throughout this, once the wave does clear, as you can see in a bit, I will have around 5,000. I'm gonna place down a Dio at the front so I can defend at the start, and then upgrade him just a little bit, upgrade him twice, and then use the rest of the money that I will get to upgrade my Bulma. As you can see, timed perfectly timed. And then I always love to, you know, like I said, make sure, so I keep going back and forth to keep upgrading them. In a little bit, once I do get around wave 4 to 5, I'll place down all my deals, and then like I did right there, I did a mistake, so I go back, click on this deal right here, sell them, and then place them at the front for extra defense. And all these ones are upgraded to the point where they're not at the time stop yet, because as you can see, 900 damage every 3 seconds with 10 SVA, so it's really good for defense, at least early game. And then after that, I focus evolving or upgrading my Bulma, just because I got that money now and I'm saving up for Arima and Irwin placements. In a bit here, I will start placing Irwins. As you can see, once I get enough money, that's a lot of money right there, I'll place down Irwins just to make sure that the boss will be dead on wave 10. And like I said before, Kizaru might spawn on these boss waves, which is wave 10 and wave 20, so you want to get Irwin down. These early defenses can't kill him, so you want to place down Irwins, upgrade him, and you should be good to go. Once you do that, I place down my first Arima right next to me, since he'll get this whole line since he has Kone AoE. And then I also start using Irwin buffs as well, so I upgrade him, start using Irwin buffs so I can get that extra damage off, and then I start spamming right here. I start spamming just because you never know if you have extra money, alright? But right here, I keep alternating with the first and second one, because that's all you really need to alternate between Irwin buffs. And then once you're good with that, the boss is literally dying as quick as possible, Dio's doing their damage, and then Arima doing 5k per with that Irwin buff, so it's pretty crazy. And then once I do that, once I maxed out my Arima, I go ahead and place another one if I have enough money, and then of course restart the process. And the main reason why I don't place any units on the other side is because of the fact that these Irwin Survey Corps members can sometimes interfere with you clicking on them and then upgrading them, or clicking on them and selling them near the end, and it gets annoying because sometimes they stay there, start killing the units, and make your run really long, or you don't get the rewards because it's still going and then you exit out at the end. But besides that, I go ahead and keep placing my Arimas. They're all near max level, if not max level, and then they got the Irwin buff, so they're doing around 15,000 per. Look at this damage right here, 12,000, but 15,000 on the last one every 5.4 seconds. That's crazy. Who doesn't love that? You gotta get yourself an Arima right now. He's probably the best damage dealer. But right there, the most that I could actually place is around 3. I could place a 4th one, but it's getting to the point where I'm reaching the wave. It's reaching the point where I actually have to sell these units in a bit, and I recommend selling them at wave 21 just so you can get to wave 23 perfectly. But right here, I keep maxing it out and keep getting that Irwin buff. Aokiji, look at Aokiji's HP just burn out. Look, 200k and it's gone just like that. Snap of a finger, Arima just takes care of that so easily. Even though the first one gets stunned, the other ones don't, so it keeps damage. It's pretty crazy. I love it. But at this point, I start selling my Irwins first just so I can get rid of the Survey Corps members and the fast units get by quicker, and of course sell my Arima since they have the most amount of damage. And then after that, the units just start passing by. As you can see, the Marine officers run as quick as possible, and by the end it will be wave 23 when this thing ends. Once it does get near the end, you want to just keep like clicking on the part where you'll get your rewards, where it says next. I'll try to stop it. Yeah, okay, right there. I skipped a frame, but right here, as you can see, I'm clicking around the next area so I could actually go ahead and do this quicker. As you can, total time 11 minutes, waves completed 23. My rewards is 85 gems and 38 EXP, and this is the amount they usually get per run, but sometimes you could go even over. When the units are slower, you get to wave 24, 25, getting more gems and more EXP, so it's pretty nice. But once you're done there, wait around 10 to 15 seconds, clicking on the next area, and then once you do that, go ahead and return to the lobby, and then you're good to go. Exit out, and then go back to the place that you started at. And the reason why I do this is to make sure that I'm actually getting the rewards before I exit, because sometimes it doesn't work. But right here, I click return to lobby, click exit a couple times, and then I move back to the line and align myself so I could end the macro. And boom, as you can see, that's the end of the macro. And then I accidentally didn't stop it, so it started going off by itself. But yeah, there it goes. That's the whole macro. Pretty easy to follow through. All you really need is to follow those steps and to make sure that you're making these small adjustments here and there. And then I'll show you guys a quick video of what happens when it sometimes doesn't go through. So right here, let me quickly go towards the time right here. Sometimes when you join the game, it actually makes your screen face upwards. Where is it? Right here. As you can see, once you join the game, it makes you face upwards and it doesn't like place the units correctly. And this messes your whole like macro up, but then it doesn't really matter because you still do collect the reward right here and exit out, so you can restart that macro. So it's still really good. I like to keep this macro on a window screen so I can exit. You could also alt F4, but it is what it is. But that's it. That's the whole macro. Pretty easy to follow through, and once you have that, you can do it overnight or while you're busy doing something else. So yeah, now into the statistics. This is for myself at least. Hourly, 60 minutes in 1 hour. Divide that by 13 because the 13 minutes includes start to finish, so that's 4 runs, 85 gems, 38 XP, 2 to 8 fruits per run, and then you get natural unit XP games. So you could have that one slot that you don't use, put a unit in there that you want to level up over time, like Ito. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And then yeah, you should be max level by the end of the night. But right here, 85 gems times 4, 340 gems per hour. hour, 38 EXP times 4 runs, 152 EXP per hour, 2 to 8 fruits or times 4 runs, 8 to 32 fruits or 4,400 to 17,600 unit EXP per hour, since 1 fruit equals 550 unit EXP. And that's the hourly statistics. So maybe you're away, you're vacationing, and you do it over 24 hours, alright? 60 minutes times the 24 hours, 1,440 minutes. 1,440 minutes divided by the 13 minutes per run, 110 runs every 24 hours. Multiply that, 9,350 gems, 4,180 EXP for 24 hours, 220 to 880 fruits, or 121,484,000 unit EXP per 24 hours. So that's the whole statistics. Sometimes, like I said, there's errors here and there, but usually this is the normal stats that I get overnight or for 24 hours. So it's really good. Anyways, good luck trying to make this macro. It's fairly simple, but once you do, have fun getting all these free stuff overnight.